tribes. Just want to let you all know, tribe, that I'm here and I'm waiting to hear from you, just like you waiting to hear from me. So some of you, I've got close to 700 subscribers. Maybe one or two is looking to hear from me. Just standing on the sidelines, waiting for somebody else to say something. Well, I'm gonna say something. I want to give you a lesson today on how to read. You know, I may talk in terms of black and white, indigenous. When you're reading these Western books, you have to understand what you're reading. To begin with, Western, anytime you see Western, it has nothing to do with you. It's the so called white man or non Eastern world. So he coded the language. So you think it's talking about Western civilization. Let me tell you a fact. There is no Western civilization. What they think is Western civilization is our stolen legacy. You need to watch Jim George for that. So whenever you see Western, just know, oh, they're not talking about me. They're not talking about my people. They're talking about their people. And that's nothing negative. Everybody need to talk about their people. I just want you to understand the language. I've got quite a lot of things to share with those who are interested. I want you to, well, you know what I want to do. I'm doing what I do. I'm doing me. So you do you. I've read the, oh, I just slipped my tongue. The, come on. Anyway, some of y'all know what I'm talking about. The Federalist Papers. The Federalist Papers, written primarily by Alexander Hamilton. Of course, they try to throw in John Jay and Madison. But the intellectual of that day, and I haven't found anyone match him in intellect and the vision he had for this country. I talked about before how he was murdered. He did not have a ill will to shoot somebody in a duel, as honorable men of good breeding do. But you always got that element of dishonorable, vile, just vile men, murderous intent. Killed his son as well. His son didn't shoot at his intended victim because he was taught to be honorable. And you got to give it to Alexander. He lived an honorable life. Nobody can take that away from him. taught his son to live an honorable life, and he followed the same advice he gave his son. And history does little to regard him. But I want you to read the Federalist paper. Now, when I read it a few years ago, it was like Greek to me. I didn't understand a lot of the concepts, the precepts, the wording, the language, because he's a lawyer. He's a lawyer. Most people was educated in the law. So they have to speak in a way, it's a code where only the learned will really understand. The average person can't understand what Thomas Jefferson is talking about. You have to be law trained. So after studying law for a while, the language of law, I went back and read it. I began to read it again. And this is how you read something like that, very complicated. You have to look at commas as being periods. That's the trick. There's so many concepts that you think of a period as being interruption in one idea to elaborate on something else. No. Read each comma as a period, as a separate idea, and then you will be able to understand. You will get a better understanding now. There's a lot of other tools you can use. Law dictionary is not going to help you unless you get one back in that era. And in the 1700s, they wasn't even making law libraries, law dictionaries, because there was no need to change the meaning of words until a big trick came. So yeah, just keep reading it. Look up words, even though they may not be the legal meaning. If you get a unabridged dictionary, and when you look up words, keep reading until you find a word that fits what he's possibly trying to say. Have you ever wondered why there's so many definitions? That's why I'm talking about meaning, the origin of the word, because definitions change all the time. And when you start reading that, the Federalist Papers, you can understand the Constitution. I venture to say you have no idea what the Constitution is talking about. The state Constitution, because that's your Constitution. You have a very little basis of understanding what the Constitution is talking about. But, however, Alexander Hamilton gives you a very, very detailed overview of the precepts and concepts in the Constitution. And I'm still trying to decipher a lot of things that was taking place when he wrote that. When he wrote those Federalist Papers, because he was the representative of New York by himself. That's interesting. He's like a lone wolf out there. But there was some controversy and New York didn't. It's quite a bit. I'm not gonna go through right here, but he does talks about the First Continental Congress, 1774, when they had the Tea Party, and that's when the first time America said, "Look, enough of these brutish Moors, enough of them. They want to treat us like second-class citizens." So they had that Tea Party, so-called. But even at the Tea Party, they were so afraid of being hung, they even dressed up looking like us. They say. I really have to see what really happened, because if that was us rebelling and not somebody dressed to look like us, then that show you that who this country really belongs to. Now I'll leave you on that note. Hiya hiya to the tribe.